The nationalist right continues to dominate the nation of Israel, all the while its political left is in a total and complete freefall. We're going to take a look at the results of the Israeli elections the other day and what they tell us about the nationalist populist trends sweeping the world. I think you're going to absolutely love it. Greetings, everyone. Dr. Steve here. Wonderful as always to be with you. I look forward to this time every single day. Super happy Tuesday to each and every one of you. If this is your first time here, we post 2 videos a day analyzing current events in light of some super awesome conservative trends so you can live in the present in light of even better things to come. So if you haven't already done so, make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. It'd be an absolute privilege to have you as a regular part of this channel where we together each and every day get to celebrate the collapse, the inevitable collapse of left-wing globalism and the unstoppable rise of a new conservative age. Before we get into the massive win by the nationalist right in Israel, make sure to download your free gift, which we put together just for you. We're calling it our fake news antidote. And, you know, I get often asked, what news sites do I like to go to get my news information? Well, I compiled about 20 sites that I go to for my news just for you. You can download it completely free at the link down below in the pinned comment section. I think you're going to really, really enjoy that resource. And finally, let's give a huge shout out to the sponsors of this video. And that's our good friends over at PatriotRates.com. Now, how many of you out there are tired of paying simply too much for your auto, health, and life insurance? Well, stop. I mean, just stop. Cut your insurance rates substantially and save big with our good friends at PatriotRates.com. They're an American insurance company that you can trust, owned by veterans. Patriot Rates sources competitive pricing on auto, health, and life insurance, and will always have your back when it comes to finding the best quote to fit your needs. So make sure to click on the link below and visit PatriotRates.com for a free quote on auto, health, and life insurance. And stop paying for overpriced insurance. Click on that link below today. All right, gang. We're 3 for 3. How's that to start off your week? We're 3 for 3. All right, so first, we had the new nationalist populist government formed in Slovenia late last week. You could check out the video we did on that by clicking on the link above. I'll link it down below for you as well, as always in the pinned comment section, right? Slovenia now has a thoroughly nationalist populist government. It's so sweet, so awesome. Then we had the elections just a couple of days later in Slovakia on Saturday, where the political right really just absolutely dominated. Again, you can check out our video on that by clicking on the link there. It'll be down below as well. Vast majority of Slovakians voted for populist right candidates. Wonderful. Well, now our worldwide nationalist right has done it again, and this time in the nation of Israel. Now, I want to give a big shout out to our good friends Eitan and Dr. Gideon from Israel, who provided for us some on-the-ground reporting. We can't thank you guys enough for these insights. So Eitan, Gideon, thank you so much. Yesterday's election in Israel was frankly a stunner. Not only, if you could believe it, not only did Israeli citizens have to actually go to the polls for the 3rd time in 11 months, okay? Just crazy, obviously. But not only that, but you had one of their major candidates, world famous, obviously, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu of the right-wing Likud party, completely plagued by all these indictments and multiple charges of corruption and all this, as well as the constant 24/7 bombardment against him by the Israeli media. And I mean, for months, Bibi just looked completely politically dead. But one of the things that Gideon pointed out to me is that Bibi held rally after rally after rally in Israel. He fired up the troops, as it were. He reached out to the base of Likud, which is hardworking conservative patriots. We're seeing more and more blue-collar workers defect from labor and go over to the right in Israel, like we're seeing in Europe and the States. It's such a key indicator of the political paradigm shift towards the right that's going on all over the world. I am happy to report that the medium bombardment was all for naught. Bibi came out on top once again. The results were pretty astonishing for the nationalist right. Prime Minister Netanyahu made an astonishing political comeback. Projections show that Likud has gone from 32 seats in the Knesset, which is the Israeli parliament. They've gone from 32 seats to 36, 37 seats when all is said and done, when the counting is done. In addition, we saw the continued rise of the right-wing parties, the right-wing coalition, through the success of the ultra-Orthodox Haredim parties, the Shahs, the UTJ, the United Torah parties, the Yaminah, who all together, along with Likud, are projected to have won about 59 seats, just shy of the majority of 61 needed in the Knesset. So their closest competitor is the relatively new centrist party known as Blue and White. They're led by, again, a relatively political novice named Benny Gantz. They're projected to have gotten 33 seats, which I believe is more or less the same as they had in their previous elections, so they don't appear to have gained or lost any ground there. On the other side, the side of the center left, they just continue to see an astonishing collapse in Israel. I guess there might be a bright side for the left, and that's what's called the Arab Majority Alliance. They're called Joint List. They look to have gained a seat or two, but man, when it comes to the leftist Labor Party in Israel, they just continue to implode. We've got to remember what we're talking about here when we're talking about labor, okay? The Labor Party once dominated the center left in Israel, as they once did in the UK. Think about that. Yitzhak Rabin, Shimon Peres, Ehud Barak, right? All one-time prime ministers of Israel, all from the Labor Party. Do you realize that the Labor Party in Israel has collapsed to just 6 or 7 seats? And gang, you ready for this? Gang, those 6 or 7 seats, that was with a coalition with 2 other center-left parties. Let that hit you. Labor can barely get 6 seats in the Knesset, even when they coalition with 2 other parties. And to add insult to injury, that half dozen seats they just got is actually down from the seats they had before the election, which, if I recall, is around 10. Labor is down to no more than a half dozen seats in Israel, and this is stunning. This is why pundits are now recognizing that Israel is a nation that is made up, really, when you think of it, okay, politically, they're a nation made up of the political right, who are aligning themselves with the so-called far right, the ultra-Orthodox, as it were, and the political center, as represented by this guy, Benny Gantz's party. So you have the center, you have the mainstream right, and you have the ultra-Orthodox right. So pundits and journalists are openly admitting more and more that the political left basically doesn't exist in Israel anymore, in terms, at least, of political viability. I really appreciated the candor of Damon Linker writing for the Week website some months back when he was he read the writing on the wall. He just came out and said, look, we all know, we pundits don't like to admit it, but we all know, and this was a rare moment of honesty for the left-wing media, okay? But he's like, look, we all know that the center left has been disappearing in world politics. We all know that, okay? But nowhere has it disappeared more than in Israel. For all practical purposes, the political left has died in Israel. Absolutely astonishing. So we're now 3 for 3 in elections over the course of the last 7 days. And Israel really, frankly, from a big picture perspective, is no surprise here. Scholars are citing Israel as one of the most explicit examples of the new nationalism that's rising throughout the world in terms of this very significant political paradigm shift. Even the New York Times has noticed that under the leadership of Netanyahu, Likud has moved quite steadily to the nationalist right, primarily through its coalition with the growing Haredim, or ultra-Orthodox parties, which have helped to pull the center-right Likud more and more to a thoroughgoing nationalist populist right. And while that's been going on, even the left has had to migrate as a whole to the center, largely because of national security issues. A globalist left, or far left, really in many respects just doesn't exist anymore in terms of political viability within Israel. And so all the political parties in Israel across the right and left spectrum have all in tandem moved more or less to the right. So as a result, altogether, the Jewish right now occupies around 70 seats in the Knesset, while the political left has been reduced to really no more than about 30. So there's no question that Israel continues its move more and more to the nationalist right. A great, great day in Israel. Now, before you go, you'll definitely want to check out my video on the colossal fall of MSNBC's Chris Matthews. We predicted that he would be canned before he actually lost his job. And we go over the sweet irony about how one of the left's biggest champions just got destroyed by leftist cancel culture. You're going to absolutely love it. So make sure to click on the link, and I'll see you over there. God bless.